So, for those of you that don't know me, I can see some familiar faces in the room, but I'm Scott Waller. I look after our new business for Sage Intacct, for Kinspeed. Been with Kinspeed now for the last couple of years. Previously worked at a smaller Sage business partner that Kinspeed acquired. So I've been in the channel now for sort of 4 or 5 years. For my sins, I was actually a practicing accountant for 15-16 years. So the figures excite me just as much as the software and the AI, which is probably not a sentence you want to read on any profile anywhere, but that's where we are, that's me. I get just as involved in the figures as we do with the software. This is us in our Intacct environment. So for those of you that have not seen Intacct, you'll see it doesn't look like a typical Sage 50 product, it doesn't look like a typical 200 product, it is a cloud, modern user interface. So where I'll start off is on those dashboards. So the dashboard we just looked at, simple, quick and load there. We now as a business are able, as quick as that, to track our revenue for our services, our revenue we've generated from expenses, revenue we've generated from subcontractors, any other revenue, and total revenue. Now the key to that, and something that Chris said very early doors, is how it's all in one place. That data you're looking at there is not just one of my companies, that's 7 of my companies. So in that instant that it's taken me to load that dashboard, Intacct's gone away and fetched me all that data from all those 7 companies to display it across our dashboards. Better still, we're looking at that revenue in isolation there for services. What's it made up of? It's hyperlinked. We can get right down, so not only that, we can see our budget in there. So why am I getting a metric at the bottom there to say where I am against budget? Well, I'm holding it against my master budget, and they're my actual figures. What's in those actual figures? Get right down to a general ledger report. I can actually go from a root piece of information within 2 clicks right down to the general ledger information that makes it up. I could take it a step further if I wanted to, but I keep you here all day, and I can get right down to that individual transaction, see who posted it, if it was approved, and what happened to that piece of information. So like I say, it's a shift away from having to take static reporting. We're bringing all this to you in real life. I mean, that there, revenue trend by dimension, on your screen in front of you, it's actually a report from within Sage Intacct, but we've published it to this dashboard. So we can publish graphical formats. You'll see over on the left, we can see what our top performing items are. What are the items that are making up those revenue statistics at the top? What classifications do they have? We have service lines in this demo environment. We can add all this conditional formatting. So within an instant, we can see a plethora of data to make better business decisions from. And that's how the dashboards are underpinning it. So we'll see the figures repeat themselves, but we're looking across company locations. We're looking across classifications. How did we classify that revenue? What industry did we look at that revenue from? Was it a service or a pass-through? Project manager. In this instance, we've got projects in this environment. Which project manager generated that revenue that we're looking at? So that one single report that you normally get that says this is what my revenue is, we've now looked at it in 1,000,001 different ways. And that's the power of dimensions with Sage Intacct. Not only that, and the way, again, we spend a lot of time when we're configuring these environments with customers when they choose Sage Intacct. What is it that you do on a daily basis that you need access to that would make your life easier? So what do I need to do? So in this particular role, I'm working in accounts payable. So first thing you want to know, what's the balance on my accounts payable? Well, there it is, right in front of you. You've not had to run a report to find it. Intacct's brought it to your attention. Not only that, as I've said before, we've got 7 different companies, so I want to know what needs to be paid between those companies as well, and I can add that with the company one. More importantly, what's my cash on hand? If I need to pay any of those suppliers, I need to know how much money we've got. And again, hyperlink, so we can actually go in there, have a look what it's made up of, make sure that all my money's not sat in a deposit account that I can't get access to. If I need to pay my suppliers, we can come in and have a look where it is. But it doesn't just end just with the visualizations. We've also got policy reminders. So you'll see up there, we've got a performance card there, DPO days, 71. So we're tracking statistics in there as well, not just figures. Why we're tracking that statistic? We've got a company policy that we need to be 70 to 75 days payable outstanding. Am I anywhere near it? Instantly, yes I am. I'm on 71 days. So again, as a user of the system, you're coming in, looking straight away at useful information that you need like that. You're not spending all morning You've not got your CFO on the phone saying, what's this, what's that, I need to run this, I need to do that. You can tailor these dashboards to work exactly how you want them to work. And again, if you want to make your life even quicker, we also create custom navigation buttons. So where do I need to be in the system outside of what I'm looking at in my dashboard? I might need to create a supplier, I might need to pay or approve a bill, I might need to run my ledgers. Quite simply, they're hyperlinked to the system, the area of the system that you need to operate in. Simple as that. So like I said, we spend a lot of time designing these, working with people as we go through. Take that a step further, you might work in a controller role, so you might look at everything. So quite simply then, we're going to look at everything across there. Got a shameless plug to Kinspeed Live across the top there, you're all here today, but that's just to show you what we can do with these dashboards. We can publish web pages to them if we need to. I did a demo where I had the shipping forecast for the Port of Aberdeen running around on a dashboard. They brought in shellfish into the UK, what slowed down their ordering process, bad weather. So we did a demo on there. So it's just to show you how you can bring that to life as well. But in this role, I'm a controller, so I need a little bit more information. So I've actually collating all that information as we go through, but I'm looking at budgets. I'm in my controller role. I want to know what actual versus budget is, but I want to know now. Don't want to know at month end when it's already happened. I don't want to know 7-10 days later after month end when it's already happened. When the CFO's on the phone saying, why are we over budget? I can already see we're over budget. I've got that live report feeding into my dashboards. It's giving me information straight away so that I can act on it there and then. So that's hopefully a flavour of what you can get with Sage Intacct around dashboards and how the dimensions feed into those dashboards. Moving on from that speeds up that journey, we have our reporting centre. So within Intacct, we have access to a whole massive monster report library and how we can work with those. Now, the first thing you'll notice on here is we've got a report audience. You think, why have we got a report audience? Well, we can schedule reporting to be automatically sent out from Sage Intacct. So whether that wants to be at the point we close month end, whether that wants to be on a weekly basis, you want to send some sales reports out, you might want to send your cash flow forecasting out every week to key members. We create them a report audience and then we let the software send out from there on. So if you take a look there on our balance sheet, we've got a little calendar icon there. It's telling us when that report was in transit, when it was successfully delivered. Better still, there's it landing in my inbox. There's my monthly P&L. System's already generated it for us. So again, we could create board packs, 4, 5, 6, 7 different reports, have the schedule with Intacct, send that straight out to the key finance personnel that you need. Automation from within the software. Now, I'm going to do one little trick that's a little bit technical, so hopefully this works. But it's going to just show you how we can use and utilize dimensions. So, hopefully when this loads up, and don't get an error message. There we go. A P&L report. Not dissimilar to any P&L report that any of us have ever dealt with on a daily basis. We've got revenue, we've got cost of sales, we've got operating expenses underneath. Nicety is it is hyperlinked because it's in blue, so we can go in there, have a look at it, do whatever we want to do with it. But behind that data is those dimensions that we spoke about before. So what if that same report, I wanted to have a look at my revenue by the individual customers that I'd sold to. Now customers is a dimension within Intacct. So what I could actually do is edit that report. Now it has its native inbuilt report writer. I could come in and say, I don't want to open that as an image. I actually want to expand that same report out, but this time I want to look at our dimensions. So our dimensions are on display. So I can say customers, I can run that same report, only this time I've broken all my individual customers out underneath my revenue. So again, revenue for services broken down by customers, revenue other, and our intercompany sales that are happening underneath as well. You could take it a step further. You could break it out by suppliers in cost of sales if you wanted to. You could break it out by department in your overheads, and before you know it, you've got a report that's an absolute monster. But it's just to demonstrate to you the power of those dimensions that live within Sage Intacct and what we can do with it from a reporting perspective. We're moving away from taking data out to Excel and then having to fiddle around and say, right, how do we classify this particular area of business? We classify it by X, Y, Z, right, let's grab that column, let's grab that piece of data, let's create another one in there. We just use the dimensions in Intacct to be able to do that for us.